need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
My next question comes all the way from Indiana. Heidi is writing. Heidi says, I would love your help with our living room. I recently sanded and refinished the floor with a whitewash, painted the door and window trim a warm beige tan, and the walls are an almost white gray. There's only one window in this room, so I am happy with these bright colors. The door and trim have helped add warmth. I would say that the style of our home is warm, inviting country cottage. We live in the country with a flock of chickens and love being home together. I need ideas on how to complete the look of the living room by making it feel more warm and inviting. What size what size rug should I be looking for? I think I would like the traditional Persian style rug. Anything too contemporary feels strange in our old country home. Where can I find feather inserts for our couch throw pillows? I'm a seamstress and on the hunt for highly textured fabric to make covers. Do I need 4 pillows? My inspiration piece is the beautiful art above the couch. I'm thinking of pulling in some of the darker greens from the picture, and I want to bring those in the pillow and in the rug. I would love to hear any advice that you have for this room. Well, Heidi, I must say, you are 100% correct. This feels so cozy, so comfy. I think the thing that's giving it that vibe right from the jump is this beautiful wood-burning fireplace, wood-burning stove, I guess it is, that's then got kind of a partial wall behind it of brick with a wooden mantle that's in an L shape around the wood-burning stove. You've got 2 chairs that look like dining chairs with cushions right in front of the stove. I could just see myself warming up there. It looks enchanted. It looks like a place you'd want to spend a lot of time. It definitely evokes that cozy feel. The thing that's leading me towards the farmhouse or that country cottage, if you will, are your plaid curtains. I also love the warm wood that reiterates the warm wood from the dining chairs in the piano. Everything is just really cozy in here. I do feel like there's opportunity for color, especially because the floor is really washed out with the white stained wood. And you do have a lot of warm wood with the bookcase, the piano, the chairs I mentioned. So everything's a little bit either wood or washed out, and we need to be bringing in some color. Let's see what we can do here. I've got this floor plan, but it doesn't give me specifics in terms of exact measurements. That being said, you do want a rug that's large for this room, but you don't want the rug to impede with the piano bench. When I pull out the piano bench, I don't want to be half on, half off the rug. Same with these chairs. If you plan on keeping 2 chairs around the wood stove, which I think sets a really nice mood, but may not be practical every day. And especially these chairs, they do look like dining chairs that got lost. So if you do want to have either chairs, ottomans, or pillows by the fire all the time, I would choose something that looks a little bit less dining room and something that looks a little more intentionally sitting room. I love the idea of ottomans because then you could bring them over to the couch. Speaking of couch, the couch is like a dark gray, looks to be sleeper bed. And then I do see the beautiful artwork above, but the artwork is a little bit small, not only for that wall, but above the sofa. I might be more inclined to put it somewhere else just because it does feel a little small. It might be perfect for above the piano where you have these empty frames. The empty frames above the piano are not doing anything for us because they're just more wood tone and it's empty. I could definitely see getting a larger piece above the sofa, moving that smaller inspiration piece above the piano, and maybe you move these empty frames that actually are quite large in size. They're probably 18 by 24 each, and move those 3 above the sofa, but put in some imagery that reflects the color palette from the inspiration piece above the piano because we desperately need some color in here. I think that the rug would be a perfect opportunity to bring in color, as you already know, as well as throw pillows. The problem is I'm not able to zoom in close enough on this artwork above the couch to see exactly what colors are there. It mostly looks like green or like neutrals, which is not really giving us a lot to go off of. Oh, there is like a little red tractor in the background I see. So I might play with that brick red color and this emerald or evergreen type color in the landscape. And maybe we just do a 60-30. You've heard me admit that sometimes I don't do a 10. Sometimes I just do a 60-30 when creating a color palette from an inspiration piece, especially if my client is resistant to color, or especially if there's just a lot going on in the room. This is a small room. There is kind of a lot going on, what with the piano, the bookcase, the wood burning fireplace, the chairs, the sofa sleeper, etc. So I think we could get away with a more minimal palette. The only concern I have is when we're dealing with green and red, it can look a little Christmassy. Those are complementary colors that have a strong connotation together. I wouldn't want this to look like the Christmas room all year round. So you may want to play with like this lighter kind of, it's almost a celadon green, and then go more brick, even deeper than I was originally thinking for the red. So that way we've got this kind of light celery tone with this deep rich red brown tone. And that would definitely not read Christmas. And the celadon might make it feel a little more fresh and contemporary. I love the idea of doing a Persian rug. I love the idea of it being a Persian rug that's multicolor, or you could do one of those vintage Persians. Like, I think bringing the warmth to the floor would be amazing with the red. And then it could have sort of that muted pattern so that it looks a little bit worn, but is a contemporary rug. I think that that would be really sweet. Definitely still read country, work with the black and white checks. And be easier to find than celadon, frankly. But thinking about all this warm wood, maybe we need to go with the green because the warm wood, if you squint, could look a little reddish in tone. I think I would just find whatever I can. And I agree, just go big with this rug. I mean, you're going to be bound by the tile hearth that's under the wood burning stove. You're going to be bound by the piano bench. And those parameters alone, what with the door swing and also the opposite wall to the door, are going to tell you what size the rug should be. So measure, staying within the boundaries that I just discussed. And I think you'll be on your way in no time. A big thank you to Aton and the Embassy who wrote our theme song. A shout out to Catherine Heller who owns the podcast shop and is our editor extraordinaire. We also want to thank Ginny Sunasan and her team at the Savvy Podcast Agency for their help with our social, our YouTube channel, and so much more. We also want to thank Uploft, which is our parent company who supports this podcast. And lastly, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all your support.